It's good to be here and being an honorary member of NAPAD for the next few days. I'm just glad to be with you. And my purpose for today and tomorrow is to help you understand the Bible from a very different perspective. I mean, we all have the Bible. It's the inspired Word of God. But I'd like us to look at it from our Asian American perspective and how I think it can be considered an Asian American book for a couple of reasons, which I'll go into during my talk. But before I move on, just to help you wake up, I'd like us to raise your hands and tell me what ethnic groups you're from, because since I don't know NAPAD, we'll start with, if you're Chinese, from a Chinese heritage, raise your hand. Okay, Korean heritage, raise your hand. Okay, Filipino, Pacific Islander, who am I leaving out? Oh, any Hapas, Okay, you all know what Hapas are, right? It's a Hawaiian word for half. As was mentioned in the introduction, my mother's Korean, excuse me, and my father's Chinese, and I was told that was the best combination from Koreans. That's the best. So we have a few Hapas. Did I leave anybody out? Japanese. How could I forget Japanese? Okay. Okay, married to Japanese. All right. And the reason why I wanted to do this is to show. Oh. There's many more. Okay. Burmese. Okay. All right. Great. Well, obviously we come from many countries. Oh, did you? Scottish Irish. Okay. I guess we could extend it Asia to Europe. You know. Well, you know, Genghis Khan almost conquered Europe. You know. So we could all have been speaking Chinese. You know, or Mongolian. Burma, okay. Okay. Now, we are considered Asian American, and we come from all these different countries. So what unifies us? Besides God, as was in the talk yesterday, and Jesus and our Christian heritage, but in terms of our ethnic heritage, what unites us all? It's not our history. We all have different histories. Like African Americans, they share a history of slaveries, all right? And Hispanics, they share a similar language. And we share neither of that. So we are the most diffuse and diverse ethnic group in this country. But for the larger community, we all look alike. We all look alike because we don't look American, do we? We don't look European. I'm sure you've run into European immigrants, right? And they speak English with a wonderful accent. They can blend very easily into our society. But here, some of us, I've been here many generations, and we still don't fit in. Let me just get another show of hands. How many of you are from first generation who were born in Asia and immigrated here? Could you raise your hands? First generation? Okay. Second generation. You were born here to immigrant parents. Okay. You've got a few. Okay. Any third generation? Okay, we got some third. Any fourth generation? Okay, my kids are fourth generation. Okay, so the second, third, and fourth generations, you know, we can speak English without an accent. Oh, have you ever been asked the question, where are you from? Where are you from? And I answer that question, I say, well, I'm from the great city of Detroit, all right, my hometown. And then they look at you funny and say, you can see the wheels turning in their their head, and they're really thinking, where are you really from? Well, I am really from Detroit. Okay? Well, okay, now they're really turning. Where are your parents from? They're from Detroit too. You know, because my parents were born and raised in Detroit too. So I said, oh, you mean my country of origin? And then you say, and if I really want to be mean, I'll say, well, I'll share my country of origin. You tell me your country of origin. Because unless we're Native American, we're all immigrants to this country. So this is the kind of the dilemma. We don't look American, we don't look European, even though we've been acculturated here, we speak English, you know, we love sports, we love American food, but we're different. And someone put it in a very interesting phrase called "forever foreigners" or honorary whites. Forever foreigners or honorary whites. And so that's the category that we fit in. We're one or the other. We are not at home in this country. We are guests of this country, but it's not a country where we can sit up on our feet and be at home here. Because people are asking us, where are you from? Oh, you speak English so well. Yeah. So those give us indications we're not fully accepted as Americans. Now, we all are familiar with this experience. We've been immigrants here. We've been marginalized here because we don't look white. And I believe that's the experience that the people of God went through in the Bible. They also went through immigration. They went through exile. They went through diaspora. And they also experienced living the margins of society. So let me, I forgot my slides. Let me talk about my miseducation. Miseducation. I did not understand my ethnic heritage until I went to the great school in Ann Arbor, the University of Michigan. And they just happened to teach a course, an experimental course on Asian American history. And it's the first time I learned about how this country, supposedly the land of democracy, land of freedom, has a dark history of discrimination and violence against Asians. And so it was a real eye-opener, and it changed my life. So I hope things are better now that as you have gone through high school and college, that you have a better understanding of your Asian heritage. And my other miseducation was in terms of seminary and graduate work in teaching about the Bible. Now think about the Bible, and I hope today and tomorrow I want you to get a whole different view of the Bible. Let me ask some questions here. What color is Jesus? What color is Jesus? I mean, you've seen the most famous pictures of Jesus, you know, the long hair, you know, and the beard. And what's his skin color? White, okay. And in fact, I was told a story of pictures of Jesus in Africa. Guess what color he is? What? No, he's white. White, yeah. So what color is Jesus? I mean, think about first century Palestine. What would his skin color be? Brown, okay. And if Jesus today was walking the streets of the Deep South in Dixie, Mississippi, let's say before the Civil Rights Day, okay, pre-civil rights, which drinking fountain could he drink from? And what restroom could he go to? Okay, yeah, he would be considered colored, and both then and now. So the other question is, what Europeans were in the Bible? Come on, think hard. Give me some Europeans. There's got to be some white folks in the Bible, right? Because didn't you have this mental image of all these biblical characters? They're all Northern European. But think about, were any Europeans in the Bible? The Romans, the Italians. But were they the good guys? No, they were not the good guys. If you look at the racial history of the United States, in the early 19th century, Italians were not considered white because they were from Southern Europe, not Northern Europe. So the Italians and the Jews became white. We cannot say that about ourselves. So all the people in the Bible, from Abraham, Noah, the apostles, the prophets, they all were colored by our racial standards. They were not Northern Europeans. Okay, so I hope that changes your image of people in the Bible. They were colored folks. Okay, I did that, and let's move on. Okay, so let me get to my first point on our first contact with the Bible in terms of immigration and exile. We all have immigrated from different countries, and if you look at and that's my second point, that another point of contact is that we share similar cultural dynamics as people in the Bible. They were part of a group culture, the we culture, which is very much different from the I culture, the individual culture of America and Europe. All right? So let me look at, first, some basic geography about the Bible. Okay, the Bible did not take place in Europe. West Asia, which is Turkey, modern-day Turkey, and Africa. So is Egypt in Europe? But sometimes the way we think, or the way we're taught, we think that Egypt is in Europe. The famous prophecy in Matthew, out of Egypt I have called my son. We could paraphrase that in saying, out of Africa I have called my son. So the whole term Middle East, that's a colonial term. That's a British colonial term in the 18th, 17th century. It's not a biblical term. The Roman province of Asia was Turkey is considered Asia. So we consider all the people in the Bible were African Asiatics. African Asiatics, because that's where they're from. All right. So we share a similar geography with the Bible, and we share a similar experience. Where's Europe? Okay, so immigration. Think of some of the biblical characters and think about their history. And I believe that the prototypical immigrant was Abraham, the father of the Jewish faith and the Christian faith. He was a prototypical immigrant. He came from where? Ur of the Chaldees. And where is Ur of the Chaldees? That's in modern-day Iraq. So Abraham was an Iraqi by our standards today. And so he was, and then here were some of the other patriarchs. This is one of the early creeds in the Old Testament. A wandering Aramean Jacob was my father and went down to Egypt, lived as a resident alien